Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, just to start off with, let's hear somebody how did you treat the kids for Easter? Did they hunt for toilet paper rolls or what?
What did we do, you guys?
We hunted for baskets.
Yeah.
We hunted for baskets.
Outside?
We did. No, it actually is snowing yesterday. What was it, in the 80s? That
was in the 70s.
It was beautiful. And then
today we got about 2 inches of snow.
And the wind chill was 11 outside.
Crazy.
It's terrible.
Wow.
Mother Nature.
It was so beautiful. I was like, we got to get outside. We got to enjoy this. And it took about 10 steps. And I was like, ooh. Wasn't dressed for this.
Yeah, how cold was it?
Now we want to get that. Hey, there's William. I missed speaking out. Hi, Eddie.
Happy Easter.
Sophie and Blake.
Sure.
Yay.
This is exactly how I pictured this would go.
We got both now. We got volume and picture. Yay.
Okay, well, thanks for everybody. We're done now, Mary.
Meeting's over.
Yeah.
Happy Easter.
Oh, look. Everybody.
Oh, baby.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Who's had a baby?
So happy.
Who had a baby?
Oh, first Easter.
Oh, look at him.
Can you see his face?
Wade's baby.
Yeah,
You need to
How
see
precious.
little cutie.
Oh, and he's got hair. He has a lot of hair.
Sleeping through this all.
Where is he?
There, that's it.
Oh.
Now, I wish you guys would remember that.
We had him on Tuesday and he came home on Wednesday.
One day.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there he is, that handsome man.
He's so tired right now, so he's not awake.
All right. Well, there's a question, and we'll go around let's go around a little bit. We'll start with Katie and Steve. During this quarantine time, everybody's experienced it differently. Why don't you give us maybe a high and a low of being locked up, and we'll go around the group here.
We're still alive and we haven't shot each other.
Well said.
Got the high and
High
low?
is,
Just the high.
I guess that's a low. I mean, a high.
I'm kind of a quiet person. I like having some downtime, but I've been doing crafts and things like that, so I like that part.
I used to use the excuse that I don't clean up my garage because I don't have time. And now that I have all this time, I realize, oh, that wasn't the reason.
The low point probably is like everybody else, just missing friends, being able to actually, converse with them and interact with them in person. I had the one blessing is I've had my granddaughter, been homeschooling her, helping out with that. And so that's nice to have a connection with her. And we've had a grandson more too lately.
Well, I'm still at the Home Depot, believe it or not, because it's a disaster relief store. Some socialization in by working at the depot. My Monday night Bible study has been postponed, but now we're on the same thing as Skype or whatever.
We've been continuing with work, and my office is, as several of you know, about 3 blocks away from our house, and we're just busy with the kids, always home, and trying to keep some schooling and education going with that.
Yeah, that's been the high for me. Is just I've been enjoying this family time, and then I'm working and I'm anchoring out of a room here in the house, the evening news. So my job, I've never been busier. Every day is like the biggest breaking news day that there's ever been. And so at first it was very, very stressful thing, but there is a big responsibility, I feel like, to get information to the viewers.
Plus, we have our kitchen completely torn up, so we're living on a hot plate and microwave.
My high is that Ted gets to work from home, so I get like a lot of time with him, which is my favorite. But I'm grateful that I can see my clients at all, so that's a good thing too, I guess.
My high is that virtually all of the real cons of the situation are just completely passing over our household. I'm able to work remotely.
So let's see. A high point is that, well, I don't even know if that's a high point. The boys are adjusting to online school, and we were able to borrow a bike from Church of the Resurrection. That's a 2-seater. So one of us rides with the twin, and we ride down our cul-de-sac and ride back. And so, and going on walks. So spending more time with the twins in just them in their rooms and us in here. So that's been a lot of fun. The con is working at Costco, seeing all the toilet paper being hoarded and all of that stuff. But we now have to wear masks, and even our name badges say, please stay 6 feet away. We are social distancing.
I have a question for you, Michelle. How is your eye doing?
Oh, so through lots of pushing, i.e. Colleen and a few other people, I did get a second opinion, and he actually cleaned out my eyes. So he sucked out all the stuff that was left inside of it. Ooh. Bad stuff. And so I can see fuzzy out of my eye, and he will fit me with a special contact in a few more weeks, and I should have all vision back.
Wow! Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So thanks be to God. Thanks be to God for pushy sisters and friends that make you get second opinions.
My highs and lows are kind of opposite of my wife's. My high is that I am in an essential field. I still get to go to work, still get paid, and we haven't had to lay off any employees. So just kind of all around, that's good for us and our office. Lows, the lack of schedule with the boys not being able to go to school does create some real challenges, especially since the Zoom schooling does not really work for them.
We're both thankful that our jobs are still going strong. I've been working even more actually, but so that's definitely a huge perk. And I like working from home. It's kind of nice to wake up and just get started instead of commuting and all that. And I'm losing track of the days. Like I knew Easter was today just because of this call. Like I'm service, but I'm working on the weekends too, so every day feels the exact same.
I do appreciate having a job, but I don't know if everybody knows I had started a new job like maybe 3 months ago. And so I'm still kind of learning it remotely, which makes it challenging. So I'm a service coordinator for adults with disabilities in residential homes. So I help check in, but I hadn't even met everybody yet. So I'm kind of trying to meet them over the phone and calling their homes every day, making sure that nobody's showing any symptoms and things like that. A high is that I have been Zoom conferencing with people that live in different states where I wouldn't be able to interact and see them, and having like game nights with friends that live in Chicago and then in Seattle and things like that, or high school friends. So it has brought me closer together with friends I don't see all the time. So that's a high, I guess, is reconnecting with people.
During this time, I've been able to be more creative. I think I've been taking this time to learn new things, to practice new skills. And I think one of my favorite things I just finished doing was making a parody with my friend Taylor. So that was, I think, a high. That was really fun to do.
I think, a high during this time would be maybe enjoying some of the perks related to being quarantined where we currently are, which is on a ranch. So there's more isolation up here in terms of human beings, but there's a couple hundred acres of open country. So we have the convenience of being able to go outside a couple times, to go on a walk, and to kind of enjoy some of that R&R. And that's actually been really beneficial for Shannon and I. We've kind of taken that time to relax and plan some things that we haven't been able to in the past. So that's good. And then I'd say a low, I think in addition to some of the things that were already mentioned, but maybe just like in my business, there's just a bloodbath like going on out there. So just kind of a lot of the stress related to limiting a lot of the damage, kind of on a day-to-day. There's a lot of people that are very stressed. So that's been a little bit difficult at times, but it will all pass.
Well, the thing that I was gung-ho at the beginning of this whole stay-at-home thing, oh boy, I'm going to do kitchen cupboards and cabinets. So I did that for several days, but it got really old. And there's always more to be done. So I'm trying to get disciplined before I move on to the tool room and then the living room. But I've got all this time ahead of me to work on this, which is a great, really a good thing for me. I just need to, after today, get really back to it. Right, Raj?
Right. Let me fill you with Roger's history. From about the age of 2 on, I was an only child. My brother and sister were gone. I lived in the country 10 miles outside of town. So what's new is being locked in. And it's nice to see this McFarland clan getting the joys of being alone and being quiet.
Let's see, a low for me is that I thought I was going to start on this 8-week RV trip on Tuesday, the 14th, and that isn't going to happen. It is interesting when I'm out on a high to go to Jack in the Box and get my iced mocha coffee large, no ice, senior price, through a drive-through. There aren't very many people on the road. It's pretty amazing. There are more people walking in my area. And I do see people at Walmart without masks and without, only a couple with gloves maybe. But
life has not changed very much. I still am at the hospital and everything is just keeping, oh gosh. It's nice. My high is that my people are home more often. And so when I have days off, they're around. So that makes my extrovert heart so happy.
Kendall lives here with Wade and I at our house.
Yeah, you're next.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm pretty excited about this little
pretty
bundle.
big high.
Yeah, but actually, I was really enjoying teaching online. I'm an elementary music teacher, and when we switched to online, I was like, this is amazing. Like, now we get to reformat our instruction, and this is just fantastic. And I love using technology, but like all of my colleagues were like, this is the worst thing ever. And I was like, I have so many great ideas that I want to share, but now I'm on maternity leave, so I don't get to share those ideas. I was just loving working online and teaching the kids online, and everyone has been going crazy. I'm used to being at home and productive at home because of my homeschool background, so I just like enjoyed. I was never locked up like this, and we were always really social as homeschoolers, but I've just like love being at home and being productive at home and working and stuff.
I wanted to share something really quick about Michaela, because I had the privilege of going to observe her in her teaching. It was a kindergarten class, couple kindergarten classes, and first grade, and she was so great. She was an amazing teacher. It was so fun to watch her teach, and the kids were just enthralled in the lesson.
Wade's turn.
Well, my high is pretty obvious. It's been an amazing journey, but also, it was kind of scary there. So it was also the low. But I don't know how much of the story
They don't know anything, but it was traumatizing.
It was, yeah. I'm just glad that they're both here and happy and healthy and everything is good.
Well, for me, I was actually kind of excited when this was, the whole shelter in place thing went down, because I thought I would have opportunity to go through all the boxes in my storeroom and my garage and stuff, and, sort through my former life and sift things out. And actually it hasn't worked out that way. I haven't opened a single box. I've been so busy
taking care of all the stuff that's still coming at me with the way life is now, that I just haven't had a chance. But it's been nice to have that opportunity, like, you know, that whole feeling like, stop the world, I want to get off. I get to do that. Yeah, it's kind of been nice, you know, like the world has stopped and is waiting for me to take care of myself. Then we can get back to it. So it gets a little bit old being alone all the time, as you probably know, Donna. But it hasn't been too bad. And of course we had this to look forward to. And the big thing about that is just that, like, I literally have not gone out of the house. My sister does my shopping and sends it with her husband to work. He works about a mile from me, so he brings it over after work. So I don't even do the grocery store. I have not been out of my house for weeks until I came here. So it's kind of fun to get to be with people again. I'm learning to socialize.
She's doing great.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
She's been a good girl.
Colleen, you're actually doing the newscast from the house. Now, do they send you all of the scripts and everything that you're supposed to read? How's that all work?
Yeah, we've been figuring that out as we go along. And the biggest hurdle was that I didn't want to admit that I didn't know how to use a lot of the equipment, because I've not been out reporting in probably 10 years, so I'm a little out of touch. But when they sent me home with gear and how to broadcast the signal, I just took it all in the car, and then I got home and I'm like, I don't even know how to turn this on. And so luckily, I just had to set up the camera and white balance and focus once, and then it has retained those settings so I can just turn it off. And the first night I did the news, the lighting was horrible, and I have a friend that has a production studio, and so he brought over some lights, so now I have a nice setup. But you have to weave to get into the little spot where I stand so the camera is in focus, and then they send me scripts, and I tried to read once on my phone and the font is too little, and that didn't work. So I mean, it really has been trial and error. And we were trying to have my co-anchor go live from the studio, and then I would read a story, then he would read a story, so we were anchoring back and forth, and there was a delay, and that wasn't the greatest. So now they just pitched to me for a little segment of what's going on in Hastings. Well, I'm like, oh, no way!
Hey, Rosie, can you hear us?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm on a delay probably for you guys, just because I'm at Little Basin State Park where I live, and the internet is not super great. So I hope you can hear me.
Oh, here comes Tyler. Yay!
Hey, you guys just got engaged.
Congratulations!
Congratulations! Woo!
Tyler!
Production engagement.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We got
Kevin's here too.
Oh man, everybody's joining.
Right there.
And what you missed is we did a high and a low for the time of being quarantined. Of course, yours are all high. You're outdoors running around.
I'm naturally, pretty fine with hanging out at home, so I'm not as affected by it as a lot of you extroverts. But it's definitely still quite an impediment. So low staff, so I'm working like 55 hours a week, so it's a little draining. But I'm just happy to have a job. I know a lot of people are struggling with that, so I'm trying to still be thankful.
Where is Kevin?
Well, so I'm still working because my lab does, we do tests on water and whatnot for all water and drinking water systems and whatnot. So I'm still working. So it's been a little crazy because normally there's around 8 or 9 people who work, and at some point, all but 3 people have been out sick.
I think high is that I've been able to organize shop with no one else there. Just take stuff apart and deep clean and organize, which feels really nice. A low is that our septic tank has been having some issues here on site about 2 weeks in. And tomorrow I have a pump person, an electrician, and a plumber coming.
to look at it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not as dramatic of a story as I'm sure a lot of people's engagement stories are, and I think a lot of that is dependent on this current situation. But yeah, so I had to reorient a lot of my plans. Like the ring, I was 2 days away from going to the jeweler to get the ring that I really wanted for the, everything the way she wanted it, and everything shut down. So I went on Groupon and found a really cool ring for an engagement ring. So just to kind of allow myself to propose, and then later down the road, when everything comes up, hopefully soon, we can get something that's a little more accommodating to her tastes. So she's aware of that. We joke about it, so it's not like it's a point of tension. But yeah, we went out to the Selkirks. This is mountain range in the Idaho Panhandle, and went camping. And then in the morning, I walked over to the bubbling brook outside of our tent and dropped to one knee and proposed. And she apparently had no idea it was coming, which I'm pretty proud of, because she's so I'll take that one.
I can't imagine having the kids inside the house with you all the time. So Colleen and Michelle.
So I have a 4th grader and a freshman in high school.
Trampoline helps a ton, and driveway basketball.
Yeah.
And lots of video games.
Video games.
I think for us, the hardest thing is trying to explain that everything is broken. We had our Friday night routine. We don't get to go to Worlds of Fun, and we have to say, oh, it's broken a lot in the household. And I think for us, that's been the hardest thing, because we did take them out a lot to do stuff out in the community and things like that. And so now that we can't do that, that's the hard thing. But they are surviving. Sean probably couldn't be more thrilled, because he's like Eddie and likes to be by himself. And I think it's bothering William more because he's pretty social. I don't know where he got it from.
Do the doxology. And we're doing praise God from, it's a doxology.
Okay.
Ready, go.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow.
Praise Him.
Praise Him, all creatures hear below. Praise Him, above the heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
That was pathetic.
Really good.
Has everybody got their mask? Lynn's been making masks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got mine.
Oh, that's funny.
You want to know something? It really helps. It really helps with social distancing. I have no problem. Sign off now. Is everyone tired of all of this?
Oh, we should take a little picture. I'll do it.
Okay.
We should take a picture. I got it. 1. Everyone wave or smile or something. 1, 2, 3.
Bye, everybody. Love you.
Love you.
Love everybody.